Hey, John, 4-game point streak, but really, I think before that, a few games. This team's played with it's not always been pretty or it's not always been great. There are flaws, but you guys have played with a purpose. You've played solid, competitive hockey. Would you agree with that? Are you particularly proud of that, given the circumstances?
Yeah, I think we, for the most part, have played hard. We've really tried to concentrate on just being as simple as possible. I think we've played north quicker, a lot more consistently than we have been throughout a lot of the year. I really stressed that as far as just trying to get going forward. And I think everybody has tried in a difficult circumstance for a lot of people that are used to being in the hunt at this time of year. I think for the most part, we've pushed along. Haven't got all the results
Sure.
that we'd like to, but we're still just banging away.
And I think I know your philosophy on this. Is it fair to say you still absolutely detest the idea that these games don't matter, that at this point,
It's
losing
miserable.
to perfect a draft pick is the preferred outcome? That just horrifies you. Doesn't it?
It's miserable. We're irrelevant. I think every team, every organization wants to be in the hunt.
Yeah.
Remember a lot of years that we're still, a lot of years we sneak in. We're just banging away at the end of the year at this time, trying to grab a way in. It's been miserable. I don't use the word hard. I think there are a lot of harder things to do in life than the sport and being out, but it's a miserable existence for athletes in an organization that wants to be part of the most important time of the year is playoffs.
And the idea of tanking to you is just absolutely abhorrent, right?
Oh God. Yeah. No, I don't know how to spell it. And I don't think our athletes know how to spell it.
Yeah.
That's something we have, I brought it up in between periods the other night. We're down 3-0 in that game. And I don't think we were playing poorly. We turn one over, the third goal, the one that really bothered them. We turn it over and they score. 3-0, nothing game. Do you give? And that's what I asked the athletes. I said, you cannot give in here. We need to have dignity as we play the rest of the games. And this is a really important time for us in that third period. And I'm really proud that they played hard and Bremer lit up a little bit, scored some goals for us, and at least we find a way to get a point.
Far different topic from me. Last question. You have a young prospect in Russia. I'm sure you haven't met him or ever talked to him, Chinakov, who is deciding to come to North America immediately, even if it means he has to spend some time in the American Hockey League rather than to wait in Russia till he's ready. Does that say anything to you about a player? Do you like that, the sound of that, or how do you receive that?
For a guy that's willing to, I don't know much about him at all, and I shouldn't. We're locked in here, but for an athlete, if I hear of an athlete coming from over and coming here and willing to spend some time in the American League if need be, that's a good sign of a mindset of a guy that wants to be the best player he can be. We see too many athletes that don't wait their turn, that just want it right now and expect to have it right now. I think it runs rampant in this league. It's great to hear about an athlete wanting to get here, wanting to understand the training of what it is to get ready for a season. And wherever he goes, he just wants to play and try to get better. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
So that's a really good sign for an athlete and how he's thinking.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll go to Mark Scheig. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Glenn. Good morning, John. And when you spoke to us a couple weeks ago, you said that you were going to look to rotate the defensive pairs. In the last 6 games, it's been the same 6. Is that a reflection of how well they've played in your mind?
Yeah. And I do think it's incumbent upon us to play the best lineup that we think is the best lineup, because there are other teams involved in watching our games versus teams. We have a duty and a professionalism to play your best team, play as best you can, because this affects other teams and how they sit in playoffs. I've been on the other side of it, watching other teams just throw anybody out there just to get them games when things are on the line for you trying to get in. So I've expressed this to the team. I've certainly balanced that with conversations with Yarmo in certain players. We have to think about ourselves a little bit too, that he wanted to see Bayreuther and Mikko, and quite honestly, they've stepped up and played very well. So there's a combination there. Detroit, the 2 Detroit games, that you may see some other guys come in that maybe that we feel are a little bit lower on the depth chart on our back end and in certain situations. But you play the games out that means something in this league, and I've watched other teams not doing it. I just think it's wrong.
It segues my next question. You mentioned it. I was going to ask about Bayreuther and Lettinen and even Dean Cookin to a point. They're obviously being evaluated. So are you been pleased with what you've seen from those 3 in particular? Yeah.
And I don't want to overemphasize them because there's still guys that haven't played and that they're still in evaluation. But I think Bayreuther has played well, and it's made it, quite honestly, it's made it easier for me. Because we're throwing some guys in, but they've played well, and I think they've played better than the other guys, so they deserve to be in too. So that's as I just talked about answering your other question. So, yeah, I think you watch for Bayreuther, you play some games, you watch players come in, they play on adrenaline, and then you watch, do they dip a little bit after they've played a few games? I haven't seen that, and more importantly, Yarmo needs to make those decisions as he's watching this. So. So I think it's been a good look at some guys that we haven't seen play a lot when we've had the opportunity.
And what does your lineup look like for tonight, John?
Same lineup as the last game.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Allison Lucan. Go ahead, Allison.
Allison, where the hell have you been?
Did you miss me, John?
No, I didn't miss you. I'm just asking you where you've been.
I've been here very quiet. Is that
Very
okay?
quiet? Yeah.
You explained just now the realities of the situation and the emotion around that. What are the challenges to you as far as coaching the mind for your players in these situations?
Well, I think it comes more to the forefront in a different way, in a different avenue with the mind is, like Cam and a lot of the guys that have been here the past 4 or 5 years and have watched the organization grow and been in the hunt and have gone to playoffs and been involved in that exciting part, it's hard for them. And I'm, early in my career, I said, it doesn't matter. You play hard every night. It doesn't matter where you are, what's going on. But I also have grown up a little bit and know that athletes, when it doesn't mean the important stuff at the end, it ticks them down a little bit. That's where it's been, that's where it's more stressful for them, I think, as far as getting themselves ready to play each and every night. And I think that's the mind for me in this situation. And I think our guys have done a pretty good job of handling themselves. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Is it different for maybe the younger guys who this is about, they need to expect something different at this time of year going forward? No? Yeah,
totally different. Where he's trying to show Bayreuther is thinking different. Mikko's thinking differently. Peaker's thinking differently. All these guys, Stefan Matteau, Dalps, all this stuff, all the guys that are kind of not on the national hockey team, but trying to make an impression as far as where it goes in the future, where it stands with them with contracts, all that stuff comes into play with some of those guys. So total different mindset. They're just chomping on the bit that they're getting an opportunity, and they're going to try to use every minute they play to show themselves. So that's a little bit of a different story as far as some of the more established guys that have been here for a number of years and have gone through the wars and playoffs.
Thanks, John.
And I have missed you, Allison. Only kidding.
Oh, I miss you too.
Okay.
And finally, we'll go to Jeff Svoboda. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Glenn.
What are you laughing about?
Metz is giving me some crap up here. I wanted to build on that question a little bit and just talk about how the guys who are used to being in the mix, it's harder for them. And it seems like you've been impressed, though, with a guy like Jonesy and just the way that he's stuck with it. And we led this team, and even Del Zotto pointed him out the other night is the guy in the room that's really doing it. Have you been really kind of impressed with the way that he's just kept bringing it you through this whole thing?
Yeah, he is. It doesn't surprise me. He's grown so much. I've been so fortunate to be with him all these years and watch him grow. And what he's done in a strange situation for him, as I talked about on an earlier question, he's gone totally the other way. It's like he's trying to play even harder. I think he's trying to lead the way, as Allison just asked about the mind. Handle this the right way. Do this as a pro. I think he's gone above and beyond and just pushed even harder to try to bring everybody else, the veteran guys, along with him and say, let's just lead the way here and do this right. We're going to be done soon. It sucks, but let's have some dignity and show some professionalism. I think he leads the way there with our team.
Thank you. And I miss Allison too, for the record.
Yeah.